Hi, what's up, y'all? It's popping in. Steve about to react to this vid by TLDR. It's titled MrBeast sued for this critical mistake. Lord, what drama is this man in now? He's always in something. And it seems like he's just trying to be a good person and bring positivity to the world and help people, but drama always follows him for some reason. Let's see what's going on. Let's watch.
I don't think MrBeast thought he was going to be sued for dropping this product, but here we are.
Deez
the story starts in
nuts.
January of 2022 when MrBeast launched Feastables and actually started to disrupt the chocolate industry in America because his ingredients are actually pretty solid compared to mainstream brands. Feastables is really riding the trend of consumers being more conscious in what they're putting into their bodies. And everything was smooth sailing, definitely in comparison to the fast food business he was in until this happened.
What's the biggest thing you've ever made?
The biggest thing I've ever made? Probably Deez nuts. When Jimmy told me about Deez nuts, I knew it was gonna be huge.
I'm not eating nothing called these nuts. You got me fucked up. You thinking I'm gonna eat your chocolate and it's called Deez nuts. Go to hell, MrBeast.
When he first told me about Deez nuts, I thought he was crazy.
I love Deez nuts. Same. I keep a pair on me at all times. These nuts taste so good.
It's like this amazing peanut butter chocolate flavor.
Nut tap.
Pause.
That's good nuts. You have to try these nuts.
No.
Go to Feastables.com right
No.
now if you want some nuts in your mouth.
As you can tell, it's a funny or a gag on a classic internet meme.
Cause some came in the mail today. These nuts.
This is a very old joke.
But
Also.
clearly, someone was not in on the joke, and that's the snack company by the name of Deez Nuts, which is a small business in Jacksonville, Florida, which, according to Google, is permanently closed.
They knew what they was
so
doing
I found
with
their
that name,
website,
too.
and apparently they're being sold at Walmart as well. But it seems like they just sell peanuts in cans and in bags, and it doesn't seem like there's any chocolate being sold here. So, I mean, this whole thing just kind of seems like a cash grab to me, but I'm also no lawyer, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. The dudes are slinging seasoned nuts, and I guess they're pressed about an internet meme. But I reached out to the lawyer and YouTuber Matt Katzer to see if he could get me this lawsuit, which he could. So shout out to that man because he delivered. And this is definitely a confusing lawsuit. I would think this lawsuit would be thrown out pretty quickly, but I guess not, because here we are. But the whole lawsuit is around a trademark infringement around the name Deez Nuts, even though they're spelled differently. Here, the company Deez Nuts claims that the Deez Nuts mark was first selected and used by Brian A. DeTore, predecessor in interest to and current principal of plaintiff Deez Nuts LLC. Brian A. DeTore selected the Deez Nuts mark based on his grandmother, who many know as Miss D.
No, you know what she was doing.
That life should not be taken too seriously inspired Brian to select a trademark that paid homage to her and her comedic flair. Hence, Deez Nuts was created. Brian began offering Deez Nuts processed peanuts with his family and with substantial investment of time, money, and resources. Has grown a national reputation following the processed nut industry. On June 15, 2011, Brian submitted an intent to use application for trademark registration with the United States Patent and Trademark Office of the trademark Deez Nuts for use with processed nuts. The application was to register the trademark Deez Nuts was assigned a serial number. Yeah. On July 26,
Wow, I can
2012,
get this on
Brian
Uber
filed a
Eats
statement
right
with the use
now.
of the USPO stating that the trademark
Go to
Deez
hell,
Nuts has been
MrBeast.
used in
I ain't eating
commerce
this
in
shit.
connection with processed nuts on May 3rd, 2012, including the below specimen. Okay, so that's their story of where it's from, but if you look at, I guess, the internet story of where it's actually from Familiar Meme. And before we dive into that, a quick word from today's sponsor. Did you know in 2020,
Y'all go support.
there's law from your cell phone got him guy.
Got it.
Nuts, where he said into the video. It says the term was originally coined by Dr. Dre in 1993 in his song.
Yeah, I'm about to say, this is
Nuts,
so
where
old.
He says this in
I love how things are so commonly known in the Black community. They are very, very old, that we've been using certain sayings and phrases for literal ever. But I love how the internet gets a hold of it and they think shit is new. When I say I love, I'm being sarcastic, obviously, because it's very fucking eye-rolling. That's a whole nother topic. I want to rant, but I'll let it go.
Get at you yesterday. These nuts.
Then obviously the more famous version of that was the meme I showed earlier with the Ha Got Him guy.
Got it.
Because that one was originally released in 2015. I feel like it's very clear that the Feastables team didn't steal this remark from the nut company, rather from that meme. But that nut company also sent a cease and desist. And the TLDR of what the Deez Nuts company claimed was the remarks are identical in all material respects in appearance, sound, and connotation. Feastables chocolate bars are closely similar to Deez Nuts processed nut products because those two distinct products are snack foods. Oh boy. Do I actually have a Deez Nuts bar? No, I do not, but from what I remember, it's peanut butter in it, and then you have the Deez Nuts nut company who sells peanuts in a can and in bags in some cases. But they continue by saying the party's goods are offered in the same geographical areas to the same consumers and through the same channels of trade. And they demanded Feastables to immediately cease and desist all use of Deez Nuts and any confusingly similar marks for snack foods. Immediately destroy all snack foods in Feastables' possession, custody, or control bearing Deez Nuts or any confusingly similar mark. And provide written certification of compliance. And to that, Feastables replied, respectfully, Feastables rejects all aspects of Deez Nuts allegations and demands. As an initial matter, your statement that Deez Nuts is firmly committed to protecting its investment in the mark and will vigorously oppose any encroaching marks is inconsistent with your client's history of enforcement efforts. A cursory review shows that the mark Deez Nuts was registered on September 25th, 2012, with a claimed first use in commerce date of March 5th, 2012. Despite your statement that Deez Nuts vigorously opposes any encroaching marks, there is not one record of a trademark trial and an appeal board opposition or cancellation proceeding involving that registration. Yet the following marks being subsequently filed and allowed or registered with no objection by Deez Nuts. And then it lists a whole bunch of other companies that have similar names. Deez Nuts, Milk Deez Nuts, and so on and so on. What's more problematic with your statement is the extensive and profusive common law use of Deez Nuts in connection with nuts, as well as other foods and beverage products. While not as misleading as your own Google search for Deez Nuts chocolate, but a simple Google search for Deez Nuts food products, and so on shows an extensive and profuse use. One such hit was the website Deez Nuts Store that sells nuts under the brand name. Yeah, and then they just keep on showing there's way more people using the same name, but no one else is being sued. If Deez Nuts is not concerned about the extensive and profusive use of Deez Nuts, and Deez Nuts report there should be connection. So I'm just laughing at how many times Deez Nuts is in a legal document. I'll have a garbage sense of humor. Which, based on your letter, would be a direct competitor. In addition to not being concerned about use of those marks with other food and beverage products, Feastables sees no reason for concern
regarding a lot of legalities that I'm not interested in.
Aside from the fact that the registrations and the extensive and profusive common law use of Deez Nuts, and Deez Nuts contradicts your client's allegedly vigorous enforcement of its mark, they support the argument that Deez Nuts is extremely weak and entitled to very little protection. In addition, your assertion that Feastables' use of Deez Nuts infringes your client's trademark rights, and the mark Deez Nuts simply does not reflect reality. The legal question is not as easy as whether the use of Deez Nuts in connection with a candy bar infringes Deez Nuts' trademark rights, and the mark Deez... drinking game. Take a shot every time I say Deez Nuts in this video. The MrBeast logo, MrBeast, and the MrBeast lightning bolt is likely to cause confusion or to mistake to deceive customers of Deez Nuts. More simply stated and illustrated below, a side-by-side comparison of the products and packaging demonstrates that in context, there's no likelihood that a customer will ever be confused between...
Right, you ain't got no chocolate. You just sell peanuts, right?
...origin of the two products. As set forth in more detail below, that is even more apparent when considering the specific factors relevant to the infringement. In short, our client believes that there is no likelihood of confusion between marks that are spelled differently, have different connotations, and are applied to different products, and are located...
They're just trying to get the bag from MrBeast.
You respectfully decline your invitation to modify Feastables products or take any further action with regard to your demand letter. Then Deez Nuts essentially replied by saying, no, if you say it out loud, it sounds the same, and we're both in Walmart shelves, even though they're not in the same aisle. Then they showed about 3 comments from their social media pages where people mentioned MrBeast. Then a notification on Instagram where someone said, hey, MrBeast jacked your swag. Then finally, some Walmart search results where MrBeast came up before them. But the judge sided with Deez Nuts, the nut company, and approved a permanent injunction between Deez Nuts and Feastables, and it said that the MrBeast-backed company can no longer use the name Deez Nuts or anything else resembling Deez Nuts to sell their candy bars. But the Deez Nuts chocolate bars are still for sale online, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here. What do you think about all this? Do you think they're...
I just Googled it and it said I could Uber Eats that shit right now. MrBeast shit, by the way. His Deez Nuts. So, I wonder what's about to happen with that. I definitely think this is unfair though, because they sell completely different products. Their products look totally different. They're spelled differently. Like, I don't think it's fair to come after MrBeast. And like they showed, there are other companies that have very similar names and they're not coming for them, but they're clearly coming for MrBeast because he has the most money and they see this as a cash grab, which is fucked up. And the judge ruled in their favor. That's also fucked up. But yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess, with this. They might be able to get a lot of money from MrBeast if he keep playing and keep selling this shit because it's on Uber Eats. So I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, this is wild. But again, I would not eat nothing that is called Deez Nuts. I could understand this being funny as like a gag gift or something. But imagine you being a dude and you just out in public and you just eating this fucking chocolate and just on clear display. It's called Deez Nuts. Like, you wouldn't feel weird. You wouldn't feel weird about that? I know I would feel weird about that. So I'm just wondering. Please let me know how y'all would feel and if you would eat Deez Nuts in public. Please let me know. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you've been watching. I'll see you on the next time. Bye.